Hey guys, it's Olivie Blake, and this is me not writing. So, there's not a whole lot to talk about today. I have some personal news, so I'm going to share that with you, but I guess you guys didn't need my help this week, so congratulations, you're all doing great. I have not been sleeping well. I don't know if that is evident, but this morning my phone wouldn't recognize my face, so I feel like it might be. But anyway, I haven't been sleeping well, which is not a great sign. I tend to go a little weird around the equinoxes. I think I've mentioned this before. Solstices, I'm fine. Equinoxes are a weird situation. This is actually medically a thing. I know it's true for bipolar. It was actually told to me by my psychiatrist when I first was diagnosed. She was like, think back to the worst times in your life. Like, when are those usually? And I was thinking about it, and I was like, oh my God, it's always in March and October. And she was like, yeah. So I kind of thought that would be the case. It's because when the sun is like, it's not even about like the weather. It's just about like where the sun is or where we are in relation to the sun. So anyway, I get weird around the equinoxes. And apparently now my weirdness is that my body will not let me sleep. So that's cool. Just a warning. I don't know why you would need to be warned. I don't intend to go crazy, but there's no guaranteeing that I won't. Okay, so the news that I wanted to share with you that some of you already know, because it turns out that some of you have actually subscribed to my website and you do receive my monthly emails, which admittedly are not very exciting, but are sometimes informative. I did the cover reveal for La Petite More, and I also dropped this news about how I am writing a short film, which I will come back to. But anyway, so I do send one email a month. It does not usually contain very much except for what's coming out next. And, you know, occasionally you're the first to hear things like this because I wrote this email the day after I signed a contract with an independent producer. This is the story. So I got a message in my FFN inbox, my fanfiction.net inbox. Sometimes I get messages that change my life, like Lil Kimura doing art for Clean all those years ago. That was wild. That totally changed my life. And I started writing for Which Way magazine because they approached me from after reading Clean, I believe. So this happened again. I got a message from somebody who is a producer and was looking for a writer for a short film and then potentially also, so a short film this winter and then potentially also a feature film this summer. We'll see. She is it's a she, I'm very excited about that. She's got a great creative vision. We had a really fun time just talking about what characters we liked and what kind of plots we're into. What she really liked in my work were the ensemble casts, so How to Win Friends and Influence People, and The Commoner's Guide to Batting a Royal. So this is the kind of thing you can expect that I will be working on, because that's what she was attracted to, that's what she wanted. So any film that comes out of me and my work with her is going to be that ensemble, friend group, bantery sort of situation, romance, but also comedy. She had specific scenes, which was really exciting to me. She really liked the scene in The Commoner's Guide where Hermione and Draco were FaceTiming Helen, and Draco was showing Hermione's mom his teeth. She liked the scene from How to Win Friends and Influence People, which is basically Marcus Flint's entry to the story. So she has asked for a short film. I signed the contract the day before I sent this email, which is why those were the first people to hear it. And yeah, it will be shot in December. It's so hard to talk about this because I don't know how much you actually care, but you know, it's kind of exciting. I don't want to get ahead of myself because I don't know where it's going to go. I don't know if I'm going to be any good at this. I've never written a script. I never did any sort of drama or cinema or anything like that, so I don't know really much about scripts. I just know from having read some what it should look like. This will be a learning process for me. I haven't had to learn to do something new in a while. It's going pretty well. It's going okay so far. To kind of take the stress away from using a new program, because I've tried to sit down and write scripts before, but then I sit down and I look at the software and I'm like, I don't know what I'm doing, and I kind of immediately am like, well, this isn't an urgent project, I'll just put it away. Which I believe I said something to this effect before when someone was like, do you ever feel like you can't write anything in Word? Yeah, you have to push past this feeling of intimidation of like looking at a blank page, and I never had a reason to push past it before. But now I do. I'm actually writing it in Google Docs, like in a very sketchy, skeletal sort of way, just back and forth, the same way I wrote their dialogue in Commoner's Guide, and then I will move it into the script when I start editing it. So I just wanted to talk a little bit about the short film. So essentially, the plot is that there's these two pretty competitive dudes who are part of this college friend group. So the story starts when they're in their mid-20s, and they basically they have a very competitive relationship. They also don't want to admit that they are in love with each other. So it basically turns into this game of gay chicken. It's like, which one is going to admit that they have feelings first? And it follows them all the way through their lives as they continuously up the ante in the wager that is their relationship. And remember how I said that story prep is often a method of procrastination? So I almost never do it, but this time I did. And it was very much a method of procrastination because it took me a couple of hours and I didn't really need to do it, but I thought it would be a fun exercise. So here are the characters. I thought you might want to hear their descriptions. So main character 1 has hair that falls into his eyes, which he swoops back with an elastic hairband when playing soccer or playing guitar. So he smiles a lot, overly muscled, sort of a Thor Odinson brought to life. His fashion changes drastically from day to day, but he almost never wears sleeves. He's in a band, which has some popularity, and plays professional soccer for a lower division team. His full name is quite obscure. Parents are eccentric academics. He has 4 older sisters, a lawyer, a doctor, a museum curator, and a therapist, and he is treasured by all of them. Somehow, this did not go to his head. Main character 2. Graphic design consultant who dresses like your usual Silicon Valley tech bro, only he has visible piercings, multiple black and gray tattoos, no for casting, colored will be fine, but personality-wise he likes black and gray illustrative, and long hair that he wears in a man bun. Almost always in a dress shirt with the sleeves rolled up, sometimes a vest, tall and thin, a little twitchy, constantly angling for a fight. He has a terrible relationship with his family, most notably his twin sister, who is an elementary school teacher with a very conventional life back home in their small town. His deepest desire is to mysteriously disappear, but this is unlikely because he craves constant validation. He has 4 volumes of handwritten poetry that no one has ever seen. Male friend 1. Deeply opinionated, a bit of a chip on his shoulder, must be the smartest person in the room at all times, though is actually second smartest, sometimes third if main character 1 is showing glimpses of the savant. He is extremely funny, witty and dry and fairly dark, but is occasionally performing for an audience of 1. An aspiring prosecutor at the beginning of the film, he eventually becomes a public defender. Is always the first to offer to help you move, and he'll do it too. Just you, though, so don't go telling people. His deepest fear is that his friends would not notice if he were gone. He is wrong, they would, but it's probably not worth it to tell him. He is at his worst when he is proven right. Female friend 1 slept with male character 1 at college orientation and later became his best friend. She is easygoing and, like the manifestation of a child's imaginary friend, exists in a permanent state of optimism. Funnier than male character 1, but only unexpectedly, usually when you think she isn't listening. A bit of a hippie, dresses like the femme half of a lesbian couple, hospital nutritionist. Unlike main character 2, she actually does love craft beer. Wears a lot of vibrant lipstick, is everyone's emergency contact, eventually marries a serious businessman who is always on his phone but who adores and spoils her, tending to her every need. Unbeknownst to the others, she is disgustingly rich. Female friend 2, never met a graphic tee she didn't love, violently feminist. Despite having a steady stream of new boyfriends, none of which remotely resemble the ones that came before, she is the first to have children and deeply enjoys being a mother. Her son, named for her late father, is her favorite person in the world. Thinks you are wrong and will not hesitate to tell you so. Prefers wine to beer. Took out the nose ring she got in college because it kept getting infected. Read her mother didn't like it. Is a prominent gender studies professor whose most renowned book is about the Salem witch trials. Is actually allergic to gluten. Probably has a podcast. So those are the main characters. I don't know why I wrote up their descriptions. I just thought it'd be fun, I guess. I don't know. A lot of that doesn't actually factor into a short film, which is probably only going to be less than 20 minutes long. But, why not? We're trying to have fun here. It's new. So anyway, that is the film. Thank you to those of you who have told me how excited you are for me or about it. It's not very often that I get optimistic, but I like the producer. I like her thoughts. I am interested to see how this goes. I hope it's something that you'll all be able to see relatively soon. It does not shoot until December, so I probably won't know for a while. But yeah, it's cool. It's cool. It's fun to do something different. I think you guys already know what the spell books are. I started Jane Eyre this morning, and oh, I have also started writing a contemporary YA novel, which I've never done. I've never wanted to write YA, but I'm actually having a good time. I'm writing it with a friend. It's epistolary, and she is the male lead, and I am the female lead, and we're kind of in our comfort zones. I think if I were to relate it to an existing pairing that I already write, we're probably looking at a Percy and Pansy kind of dynamic. So it's fun, and we're also both embodying all the background characters that send the like catty group texts and stuff. So I'm having a really good time with it. Writing a teenage girl is something I haven't done in a while, but it's refreshing. It feels nice. It feels like it's a fun voice to embody. So yeah, Lady Vengeance is continuing. I will definitely update this week. I'm not sure if I will be able to next week because I do have a lot of kind of major deadlines on Tuesday the 15th. We'll see how it's going. I will let you know in the author's note of this week's chapter what my projection for next week will be. But anyway, that's all I've got for today. Seriously, I can't thank you guys enough for being excited for me. There are so many of you who have said that this is the exact thing you wanted, and I am really, I'm mostly overjoyed to give it to you. That's all for me. I think I told you everything. I feel like I'm going to forget and have to add things later, but you know what? That's what it is. It's because I'm not sleeping. Yesterday I woke up at 2:30 in the morning, and then that was it. That was all the sleep I was going to get, and I was like, please, can I have more sleep? And my body was like, no. I've also been having really I don't usually dream. I used to dream a lot, almost deliriously, when I was on medication. And then once I started writing, I stopped dreaming. So when I don't write, I have really vivid dreams where I wake up and I don't know where I am. But now I think it's like, my brain's like, the demon will let me rest because I'll just write stuff down. But lately, I've been having these really crazy dreams. And there's all these strangers in them, like people I've never seen before. It's alarming. So maybe it's best that I'm not sleeping. But I'm not as mentally here as I usually am. So I'm going to go. This has been me, Olivie Blake, not writing. And I'll see you next week.